Welcome to the Shout Out with Sage show. Shout Out with Sage.
Shout me out.
And that's all I gotta say. So shout out and let's go.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Streaminn HUBB Radio. I'm Sage Stevens, the host of Shout Out with Sage. And my guest today is an actress, comedian, and author. She wrote the book, The Favored Son, available on Amazon. And just this past Sunday, she produced the third Crazy Funny Asians, which was a sold-out show hosted by the world-famous Comedy Store here in Los Angeles. The show was a fundraiser to benefit the families of the Monterey Park shooting, headlined by Margaret Cho. Today on Shout Out with Sage, I want to welcome Kat C to the show. Hey, Kat, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Sage? Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. So you just did the show at the Comedy Store to benefit the families of the Monterey Park shooting. How did that come about for you? You've done it 3 times now. When was your first show?
The first Crazy Funny Asian was held at famous TCL Chinese Theater. We sold like over 400 tickets. And the second one was at the famous Bourbon Room in Hollywood, and it's also hundreds of tickets sold. And the one we just did, which was last Sunday at famous Comedy Store, it's a huge success. It completely sold out the show. And then after we sold out of the tickets, still so many people requesting buy tickets. It's definitely high in demand.
So are you going to be doing another show then soon?
Yes, so we are looking for our next one because this is a comedy charity series. So we are looking forward to this every quarter of the year and benefit a different kind of AAPI community charity. So I'm very fortunate to be part of this show.
How did you go ahead?
It's created by Chinese Chamber of Commerce, and I was on board to co-produce, host, and perform the show.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, it was a great lineup. Everyone was super funny. Thanks for inviting me. How did you end up becoming a comedian? Like, what made you go that way?
Yeah, I got into acting years ago. I started doing performing arts when I was really young, and then I always had a huge passion in comedy. So I started doing improv first years ago, and lots of my friends are comedians. They're like, "Oh yeah, Kat, why don't you start doing stand-up comedy?" So I finally got on doing stand-up comedy. It's been an amazing journey so far. I think laughter is the best medicine.
Right. I went to your show, and one of in your routine, you mentioned how your one boyfriend wanted you to quit comedy. Is that true?
Yeah, my ex-boyfriend, he doesn't want me to do stand-up comedy. As you know, being a female comedian is a bit, now it's getting so much better, but being a comedian, you have to go out at night, right? It's part of, that's our job. We work at night. But my ex-boyfriend, he was kind of traditional 9 to 5 kind of person, and then he doesn't like me go out at night, and then our schedule just doesn't match.
It doesn't coordinate. Yeah. It's hard.
Some men, they don't want their girlfriends or wife go out at night. I never betrayed him, but he felt like going out at night, sometimes
it runs the risk of you getting into trouble or not doing things. Yeah, I got you. Or doing things. Actually, he's probably thinking you're gonna be unfaithful. So
yeah, that's kind of being a female comedian. It's kind of like we are in a boys club, right? Because as much as the comedy world has changed so much, we had more and more female comedian right now, but we are still in boys club. Yeah,
right. Predominantly, it's still a male-driven male-driven job or career, however you want to put it. What hurdles have you faced so far in being a comedian?
Doing comedy is fun, but I think it's also very challenging. It's very competitive as well, because here we are at the best comedy hub in the whole world. Basically, the best comedian from all over the world come to Hollywood or New York City to pursue their dream to become a stand-up comedian. It is very competitive. You really have to bring your best to compete, and even competing for stage time, and trying to become better and a better comedian. It's always a hustle.
So for those of us not in the comedy circuit, how do you get your stage time? Can you sort of explain that?
I think as a comedian, everyone started at doing open mic first, right? You go to
Okay.
comedy clubs, do like your 3 minutes or 5 minutes, like do your open mic. If you get passed by those clubs, they're gonna bring you back to do the shows, and then as you know, like all the best comedy club in Los Angeles, some are very prestigious. You just constantly have to bring your A game and write better jokes, have better stage presence. Also, nowadays, also maybe have big following, have fan base, and film credits. Everything has to add up.
Okay, to get that stage time.
Yeah.
Where did you first start? Okay, so how long have you been doing comedy actually?
It's so funny, Stage. I started doing the comedy like during COVID. Like I was doing the Zoom comedy first. During COVID, everyone stay home, right? The flapper comedy.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, the flapper comedy in Burbank, because they have those Zoom comedy show. I signed up doing that first. I was taking classes and doing the Zoom comedy. And then, before that, I went to some open mic before, but I wasn't very kind of like committed. So
Right.
only, I guess comedy comes from tragedy, and you have so much time at home. I started writing, writing lots of jokes. I started like kind of 100% that focus on doing comedy, and then by doing Zoom comedy, and then started going to different open mics at different clubs. After COVID kind of ends, and then also I started producing my own show as well, because I think that's another way for lots of comedians. They have their own like comedy show. They produce their own show, as you know, Jimmy Sheng and all the other comedians. They all have their shows, and then I was doing my Sunset Grill, because I know the restaurant owner, and then I reached out to them. I said, hey, I would love to put on some comedy show at your restaurant, because at the time for the restaurant, they slowly recover from pandemic, right? They want a business. So like I was doing the show there every Tuesday, and the Thursday I have a 7 p.m. show and 10 p.m. show. And from there, I started kind of meet lots of comedians. I have different hosts. Like every show I have different hosts come to host my show.
Right.
Yeah, and just started to kind of develop my own network, and also gave myself stage time and learned the comedy business better and better as well.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're, it's being more proactive in your career and developing your own show and developing your own network of people. Yeah, that makes sense, from a business standpoint. So you also act. What have you been acting in?
Well, I've been acting for a while. So I've been Screen Actors Guild member for over 10 years. And then as you know, like being actor is also very competitive here in Los Angeles, right? And then sometimes you get a job, sometimes you don't. You start as a co-star, guest star, series regular, get TV and film, build up your credits, because it's always like a catch-22. In order to score bigger agency, you need to have lots of credits, right? But if you want to get all the credits, you also need a good agency. It's kind of like the hustle as well. And so I've been doing that for a while. And of course, being actor is a bit different. So we talk about this. You say actors, we have union, right? We have SAC, Screen Actors Guild. But in comedy world, comedians, we don't have a union, which is a very different.
Right.
When I just got into comedy world. But I think there is a huge difference between acting and comedians. Comedian, you have more control of your career, because being an actor, a lot of times you go to audition, it's also about, is your look right for the part? And then you have to get approved by studio, producer, casting director. Just a lot of times it's out of your control, right?
Exactly. It's like, are you tall enough? Are you skinny enough? Are you fat enough? Are you old enough or young enough? Or, there's just so many factors. Do you look right with the other person that you're being cast with? There's just so many things that really don't have to do with your ability as an actor. It just has to do with like all these extraneous other things. So I totally agree with you on that.
Right. Yeah. Sage, you probably understand because I feel like lots of people know like being an actor is sort of is also about luck. Of course, you need to have talent first, right?
Right. Yeah.
Talent and the right time and meet the right person. You need to always be ready. So like I always feel like there are lots of similarity between acting and comedy as well. Like you say, lots of stand-up comedian when they get bigger in comedy world, they get offered TV and film parts as well.
Yes.
So I feel like being a comedian, you have more control of your career. And if you're funny, you get stage time, people see you, you can start kind of uprising more and more, and then you can create your own opportunity.
Where do you get your ideas from for your comedy?
At this point of my career, I think lots of my comedy based on inspired by my own life, also my observation of my friends, everything happened to, in my life, and then just observe the others as well. And I don't do lots of like a political joke or like a religion. I try to stay away from that. So I'm not that kind of comedian. But like every comedian has their own style. But I think now lots of my jokes based on like dating, because it's kind of like, what I know a lot. And also I do lots of race joke, but I always avoid any racial slur or something. When I do race joke, it's being self-deprecated. I'm not.
It's more about you. You're making fun of yourself, right? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given by someone about your career? Has anyone given you like some sage advice on being a comedian?
It's so funny since you asked that. I recently just got this advice. I'm trying to work on that. It's not like I'm alcoholic yet. So I remember one time I had I do like have wine, and then I'm started slowly to learning it's good not to drink before you set, because I remember I was doing a set at Roosevelt one time, and then Jimmy Kennedy said, "Hey, Kat, did you have a drink? Maybe don't drink before your set. You can stay sharp." So then I feel like since he told me that, and then always remember, okay, I never ever drink before my set anymore.
Okay. Well, I can see both, I could see both angles of that. Some people would be like, oh, I want to loosen up a bit, and like having a drink will, if you're nervous and you have anxiety and all those things, it'll take that. But I also see his point that you're not going to be like, crisp and sharp, especially if, if people in the audience are, heckling you, or you want to feed off the audience. I could see how that might affect, what you say or how you react. So that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I guess everyone's range is different, right? Some people, they could be really funny after had 1 or 2 drinks.
Right. Yeah, some people might not be so funny. Exactly.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in LA for?
Gosh, it's been like at least 15 or 17 years. Yeah.
And where did you come from? Where were you before here?
I was in China before. I was born there and then moved to States. I always feel like here is like a home for me, because I spend my majority of my time in America, because I live in LA, because LA is home, because I know some other people that live in different states. But for me, here is always like a home.
Right. Is there a difference then, like when you're performing with like predominantly an Asian crowd, like the sense of humor is going to be different, is it not? Or am I wrong on that?
I mean, I would say, Sage, this would really be interesting question as well, because I literally just had a conversation with my other comedian friends. Even like here in Los Angeles, you perform at different, area. Could be different. Like the show you do in Orange County, it's very different reaction you did in Hollywood, because even Orange County is like 1 hour away. It's way more Republican, and Hollywood is very democratic, more like liberal, right? So like a lot of times you have to tailor your jokes to kind of like please a crowd. I don't mean please a crowd, it just kind of fit.
Right.
Like know, the thing, like some jokes may work in Hollywood, may not work in Orange County.
Right.
So as a comedian, sometimes I'm still learning to adapt to that as well. Yeah.
Right. But then I guess you'll have to have like a wider range of jokes so you can adapt as depending on what venue you're playing at. So yeah. If you only have like 5 jokes, you're gonna use the 5 jokes you have no matter what, right?
That's why like now like more experienced comedian, like even for me right now, I have like, you know, a lot of jokes. And then when I go to the club, I also like to go like see what the audience are like from the behind the curtain. So I kind of get like, you get a sense, oh, okay, how the crowd gonna react to those type of jokes. You kind of cross out, okay, not this joke. Keep this joke, not this joke. So you kind of like just start taking mental notes, right?
Right.
You want to like make sure you go up stage, your jokes works for
Right.
that.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you're feeding off the energy of the crowd and what's sort of working for that time. Did you study comedy? Like, did you go somewhere like to a class or something?
Yeah, I took like an improv class. I was doing like lots of improv class on like, you know, the Nerdist on Sunset. And I think like there are lots of similarity, like doing improv and comedy. And I kind of, you know, I met some comedy writer in my improv class. We started writing lots of comedy script together. We actually created like one comedy series. We created a mini series. We shot at this series at my ex-boyfriend's garage because it's about like about garage startup. So then we kind of created that comedy series, and then kind of like learned writing comedy, like TV series. And then we created another script still in development. We have the whole pilot script ready. But we haven't, filmed that yet. We're still trying to pitch to like different, and like now, network is kind of changed a lot. Now there are more streaming service, which still trying to kind of adapt the script to send the different like streaming service. So like it's kind of like from there, I learned how to create jokes, writing the comedy, learned the timing and everything, creating the characters.
Right. What is your favorite part about all of it, about comedy?
One thing I really enjoyed about comedy is like, as we all say, laughter is the best medicine. A lot of times I feel like as comedians, it's also like therapy for yourself as well.
Yeah, to complain about all your problems.
Yeah, just like I overheard some people say, some comedians like they basically just went up stage, ramble about their problem. Of course, that's not the way you should do, right? You should always have you can talk about your problem, but you should always have punchline. It's not just the
right.
But therapy session. So I only think, I do like make people laugh. And then like as performer, you are performer as well, right, Sage? Like we want to bring that kind of entertainment to people.
Yeah.
No matter make people laugh or make people cry, make people jump, whatever.
Exactly. Speaking of that, making people jump, do you do physical comedy, or have you ever done anything on stage that, has required you to like, I don't know, maybe be a bit uncomfortable with like your usual routine, maybe?
It's so funny, Sage, you asked me this as well. In fact, last night I have a casting director came to my show as well, and he was talking to me. He said, Kat, have you ever thought about doing physical comedy? Because you can see some comedians that are very physical, very character driven. Because I didn't study at the groundling, because I when I heard about, groundling is very much focused on character, right?
Okay.
Like those type of, I'm not like a comedian who's really good at doing impression or character, because I know some people are so good at that. I think lots of comedians from SNL that are really good at doing impression. I feel like my comedy style at this point is more like a deadpan style. Yeah, because I
would agree. You're very, it's just, deadpan, like and it's very observational and about people and about relationships, definitely.
Yeah, relationship and deadpan style, like kind of like just very dry sometimes.
Which I like. That's more my what I like as well. So What do you have planned in the future? Do you have other projects coming up? Do you have like acting stuff, or what's going on?
I mean, like as like comedian actor here in LA, it's like every day you hustle. And tomorrow I'm working on a music video because like we do all kinds of gigs, right? And then like I'm also trying to do more shows. I also have shows tomorrow night at the stand-up comedy in Orange County and Laugh Factory. So I have two shows tomorrow night, or during the day I have this music video. But like sometimes the industry. Sometimes you work a lot, sometimes you don't work.
Right.
Like while we're not working, we're just trying to kind of create, like even make some stupid skits, put on like social media.
Yeah.
TikTok.
That's right.
Like people can write like TikTok fame these days, right? Like even
Right.
on TikTok, you can get some movie deal these days.
Exactly. Definitely. What would your advice be to someone who wants to become a comedian if they're just starting out?
Definitely just kind of write your jokes first, and go to open mic, test out those jokes, working on that. And then, I mean, like for me, I also like to watch lots of comedy special and also observe the other people's behavior. Like one thing I felt like I find is funny is always like I like to observe everything, and I saw sense of humor on everything. Sometimes, like even I saw something other people don't think it's funny, but I think it's funny. Yeah, you see like in your own mind perspective, you're like, oh, I found a sense of humor in that thing.
Yeah. I definitely have a unique sense of humor. So there's things I find funny that not many other people will. What was there anyone that was really instrumental in helping you, like in your comedy? Like, were you scared to become a comedian? Was your family supportive, or is there someone that really helped you?
Honestly, I felt like right now, like I have like this comedians. We have like this community, right? A lot of times, it's not like every comedian is cool, but you find your own group, and then you support each other. And then, I mean, I'm still trying to like just like make my family think, oh, doing comedy is cool. I think one day if I'm like start making lots of money, they'll be like, oh, that's great.
Right.
Yeah. But at this point, I just feel like it's good to have like this support group, and then keep just learning, improving myself.
Right. Definitely. What's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, what would be success to you?
I definitely want to get a special. So I'm writing my 1 hour special material right now. So I have like a very solid half hour. I mean, I have 1 hour material, but I don't think it's very tight 1 hour yet. So then I'm trying to work on to get like a 1 hour material ready. So maybe I will try to get like some special by doing half-hour special with other comedians, and eventually doing my own 1 hour special. And at the same time, I also want to keep, of course, acting is always my priority as well. Getting TV and films by shifting from doing stand-up comedy. I will always enjoy doing stand-up comedy. I feel like a Kim Jong would be perfect. Like those example I want to follow. He was doing stand-up comedy, and now he's major just doing like a TV and a film. If he has time, I will still do stand-up comedy. I feel that would be my goal, because I don't think I would become a tour comedian. Because that's not the path I want to do, because I feel like the main goal is I want to get in TV and a film. Doing live comedy is fun as well. I think as a performer, you constantly needs that, right? And getting TV and film, and I also wanted to kind of writing more like just TV and film script, and hopefully this will take me to somewhere to collaborating with other writer, director, and actors, creating more things.
Right. I saw that you wrote a book, correct?
Yeah. So I thought that it's just like it's a novel, but I always want to adapt that one day. But I think it's a long time goal. Eventually one day, because
what made you decide to write a book?
Because I was inspired to kind of talk to my family, and as like an Asian American here in America, I feel like we have our own story to tell, and then this is more like a family story. And then, I mean, it's not like people saying, "Oh my God, is that based on a true story?" No, it's not. It's fiction, but it's like you observe other Asian American family, and you kind of just get inspired. You create those fiction and character in your head, and like a lot of problems, a lot of pain and journey many Asian American have shared here in America. So I think it's kind of also I'm fascinated about this con artist story. That's my favorite genre to watch those because I think.
Sorry, which genre?
And con artists, I like that story. Catch Me If You Can, right? Like those con story. I think it's kind of suspense,
right?
Stuff like that. Yeah.
That's so. Are you planning to then adapt it into a screenplay or anything?
I mean, eventually, hopefully, when the time is right, if there is a right time, hopefully we will. Because nowadays, I know lots of TV film script adapted by books. I think I have to find the right agency and then to push this as well when time is right.
Speaking of agencies, do you have an agent? Do you have a manager?
Yes, I have like a commercial agency, and then in fact, I just left my management company. She's amazing. I love her, Jennifer Manor, but she moved back to Canada. So I mean, she still had office here in LA, but her focus is in Canada right now. As you know, the production has started going global, right? How do we get into Atlanta, New Mexico, Canada due to the tax
credits? Yes, the tax credits. Yes.
Yeah. So then she moved back to Canada, and then kind of LA is not her major hub anymore. So then, we kind of just parted our way, but we still we left on good terms. And then she's I'll find a manager who also right now, since that my stand-up comedy career started taking off, I want to find a new manager who's also good at managing comedians.
Right.
So it's a different journey. So I'm still kind of working on that. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you end up getting a manager to begin with? Was that easy for you, or was that took you some time?
I mean, it's kind of funny though. I would say social media has become like a major game changer as well. Because during the, I think it's before pandemic, I already know this manager. And then during the COVID, you know that app called a Clubhouse, right?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everyone was on that. So I become like a big influencer on Clubhouse. I was really big on Clubhouse. From there, I actually met lots of big producer, writer, agent, and manager. I met her from that Clubhouse app as well. And then, so I that's why I feel like nowadays social media has become game changer. I mean, Clubhouse is kind of dying down right now after COVID ends, right? Yeah, but I feel like, still it's a social media app can help you score manager or agent these days.
Right, exactly. And just, also putting with comedy or acting, you're on TikTok, you do stuff every day, who knows who will see it. So what do you have coming up? What shows do you have coming up? Where can we watch you?
Tomorrow night, I have a show at the Stand-Up Comedy Club at 8 p.m. It's in Orange County. And then after that, I have to go to Laugh Factory Hollywood for a 10 p.m. show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a show for tomorrow. Yeah. And then, So at the same time, I'm still trying to write more script as well.
Right.
You never know nowadays, right? And
So how can we find you on social media?
My major social media right now, the two I'm using is the Instagram. It's official Cat C. Another one is TikTok as well, official Cat C. So those are two major ones I use.
Gotcha. Cool. And with your Crazy Funny Asians for the Monterey Park shooting, is there a way people can donate to that or if anyone's watching and wants to help out?
I think, if they go to the Chinese Chamber of Commerce website or Instagram, they're going to find the link. And I think, they can go to the website and find the donation link and the stuff. For me, as a comedians, I am so proud to work with them because they provide so much resource. But the other one, Chinese Chamber of Commerce, the other one in charge of all the kind of donations and the charity as an artist, I was brought on board to kind of bring the community together, producing the show. So, and of course, I am very happy to be, performing the show for this great cause as well.
Right, exactly. Have you experienced any racism? Have you had, horrible, or not good things happen?
Honestly, Stacey, I have been very lucky, maybe because here in LA it's very diverse, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we have all different kinds of ethnicities, and that's why I love Los Angeles. But I overheard my friends said that they even had those kind of things happen in San Francisco. This girl got attacked, got jumped by a bunch of those kids. And I also heard of those older, like especially older, like Asian population, they got attacked more because they think they're old, right?
Right, that they can't defend themselves. It's an easy target.
Yeah, that's why we want to raise awareness about that as well, because a lot of times I want to protect our elderly because they couldn't protect themselves, and then other people took advantage of that. But for me personally, I only experienced this thing one time. So actually, this happened in Montreal Park as well. I did a show in Montreal Park during pandemic. At the time, the whole, there are lots of things kind of surfing, on internet says, oh, well, Chinese people, they brought this virus to America. Some people hated enough, right? So I did a show in Montreal Park during the COVID. And there was during the show, there was heckler stood up, said, "Oh, did you bring this virus to America or something?" I think that the other other crowd kind of just said that she didn't bring this to America. So then it's just like basically they just blame all the Asian people in America because I think some people are angry, they're not educated enough. I think they just blame the whole race, and that's the whole, I guess, like the Stop Asian Hate thing started, but I think right now with more and more awareness, and then part of being Asian American, like comedian, I think I do want to bring that awareness so people can see what is, what's really going on. And
Cool. Yeah, the show was a great show. Everybody was super funny. And so thanks so much for hosting that and inviting me. And thanks for being on the show today. Is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Oh, no, thank you, Stacey. I'm so happy, you get to come to the show, and thank you for being a great ally, and I love you, and you are so amazing. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, thanks, Kat, and I hope to see you out and about, I'm sure, and come to another comedy show soon.
Definitely. Sage, thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I'm Sage Stevens, and this is Shout Out with Sage on Streaminn HUBB Radio. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining. See you next Wednesday. Bye. Thanks.